Good morning, Year 6. I hope you're well and you're keeping yourself safe. We've got a lot to get through today, so we're going to get started as quickly as we can. So I'd like you to write down today's dates, the 30th of April 2020, and I'd like you to write the learning intention, which is to convert between metric units in relation to length. You'll notice with our Roman numerals, I've missed out a part of our date. So can you write in the date as it should be in Roman numerals? What letters should be there? 30 is made up of 3 tens. X, 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 X to represent our 30. Well done if you managed to write that correctly. So as I said, our learning intention today is to convert between metric units in relation to length. Now that probably doesn't make much sense at the moment, but hopefully by the end of this lesson, it will. So, before we start, lots of you might have seen Mrs. Riot's message. She posted a video to say that she would be doing a times table rockstar competition. And in her video, she also said that the child with the most points in each year group would receive a certificate and they would be the winner. So the challenge was set, and last week, 3 children across year 6 scored top marks. So well done to Abimani, Baruch and Farah. If you would like to enter this week's competition, then you just need to make sure you log into your Times Tables Rockstar account, complete as much work as you can, and just make sure you're trying to get as many of them right as you can. But before we move on, again, a big well done to those 3 children. Today's lesson, you're going to need a pencil, you'll need a piece of paper, you'll need a 5-minute timer, a 2-minute timer, and again that can be the same timer but you just change the time on it. You'll need a tape measure or a ruler. You'll also need your Purple Mash login details, and I've had a few emails this week from some children who said that they haven't been able to get into their Purple Mash. Just make sure you're logging into the Grange Harrow Purple Mash account. So you can see on screen it's the link right at the bottom, and it should be on your cards. It's the link shown on the cards that you were given. And lastly, but most importantly, you need to have a positive attitude for today's lesson. That means you need to say, yes, I can do this, and if there's anything I find tricky, I'm going to practice and practice and practice until I get it right. So if you've got all of those, check. Well done, we're ready to start. So for today's math starter, we're going to do something a little bit different from what we usually do. You might have seen this in year 5, something similar to this in year 5. So for this, you need to choose your level of difficulty, and then you're going to answer the questions as you go down. So for the first one, 42 divided by 6. And if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see an example of how you can lay it out on your paper. So 42 divided by 6, you'd write the answer 7. And then for the next section, you need to multiply that number, that 7, by 2. So you multiply it by the column underneath. Okay, so choose your level of difficulty. Put your 5-minute timer on, and off you go. Excellent, so here are the answers. How well did you do? I know some of those were quite tricky, especially in the challenging section. So I'll go through some of them and what you needed to have done to have found the answer. So for the challenging section, I'll just go over some of those. Where it says what is 200% of it, that means the number itself, 495, is 100%. So to find 200% of it, we just have to multiply it by 2. So you should have got 990. For the last bit, 37.5% of 600, you need to have realized that 37.5% is the same as 3/8. And if that's 3/8, then what is 3/8 of 600? So 600 divided by 8, and then multiply that answer by 3, and you would have got 225. If there's any of those that I haven't managed to go over that you found tricky, then send us an email and we'll endeavour to try and answer your questions. So moving on. You should have received your knowledge organiser, which will tell you what we're covering as part of our maths unit at the moment. So we're going over conversion. So So I've just put an example of our knowledge organizer that was sent to you on screen, and this is the part that we're focusing on today. So we're looking at converting length, metric units of length. So before we start, in units of measure, which one of these is the correct spelling? Excellent. It is the first one, A. The correct spelling is M-E-T-R-E in measurement. In a meter, M-E-T-E-R is used to determine how much of something is being used, such as gas, electricity, or water. And it's also the American spelling for meter. But the UK spelling, the correct spelling that we should be using today, is M-E-T-R-E. So, making sure you're spelling these correctly as you write them down, I'd like you, in your books or on your paper, to order these units of measure from largest to smallest. We've got meter, centimetre, kilometre, and millimetre. If you finish that, then I'd like you to have a go at the challenge. Where would a decimetre go? Think about where a decimetre would go. Look at the word, break it up, decimetre. Think about dec, does that help? Okay, so moving on. Oh, and just a quick reminder that millimetres is abbreviated to mm, centimetres to cm, metres to m, and kilometres to km. So moving on, you should have this order. Kilometre is the largest, a metre second, then centimetre, then millimetre. And did you manage to figure out where a decimetre would go? It would go right in the centre, because a decimetre is a tenth of a metre. It's a tenth of a metre. So it goes right between a metre and a centimetre. Well done. So today we're going to be looking at metric measurement. And metric measurement was based around a metre. So metre is the king of our metric measurement when we're talking about length. And you'll remember using metre sticks throughout your years at school, lots of you will. So a metre is what we're basing a lot of what we're talking about today on, okay? So think back to those lessons where you used to measure around the class, finding things that were a metre, measuring the length of your body. Remember all of those lessons and try and picture how long that metre stick is. Maybe put your hands in front of you now, separate them, and try and estimate how long that metre is. And then if you did manage to grab a tape measure, then see if you are correct. If you manage to grab a ruler, if you've got a 30 centimetre ruler, you need to multiply that by 3 and add on another 10 centimetres at the end. So some key vocabulary that we're going to be discussing today, that you're going to hear regularly today, is metric. But what is metric? Well, a metric measurement is a unit of measure based on the metre, as I said, as a unit of length. And it's made up of metres, grams, if we're talking about weight of a solid, and litres if we're talking about the capacity of a liquid. We're also going to be talking about millimetres today. So milli means 1,000. So a millimetre is 1,000th of a metre. We're going to be looking at centimetres, and a centimetre is 100th of a metre. Centi meaning 100th, coming from the Latin word centum, and you would have heard that word cent before when we talked about a century. Or metre is a unit of measure made up of 100 centimetres. And a kilo means to multiply by 1,000, so a kilometre means 1,000 times longer than a metre. If you need some more help there, you can go to the link that I've shown on screen, measuring imperial and metric, and just go over that if you need some more help there. So I've covered this up, and I just want you to pause the video here, and I just want you to turn to whoever else is in the house with you, to somebody else in your home, and try and see if you can explain to them the definition of each of those words. Then check, did you manage to explain them correctly? Well done if you did. So I'd like you to write down the information shown on screen. These are our conversions. 1 kilometre is equal to 1,000 metres. 1 metre is equal to 100 centimetres. 1 centimetre is equal to 10 millimetres. So now here's your task. The first one is on the screen already. We're just going to focus on centimetres and metres to begin with. So this is our challenge 1. If you feel really confident with centimetres and metres, then forward the video to challenge 2. But if you think, no, this is completely new to me and I'd like to go over it and practice, then let's do the next task together. So 326 centimetres. We know that there are 100 centimetres in a metre. So in order to convert 326 centimetres into metres, we need to divide it by 100. 326 divided by 100. The decimal stays still and our numbers move 2 places to the right. So when we write 326 centimetres in metres, we get 3.26 metres. Now, if we were going back, you'll see shown on screen, I've got the arrows just to help us so we know which direction we're going in. If you're trying to convert 8.7 metres into centimetres, you're going to be looking at the blue arrow. And you're going to need to multiply 8.72 metres by 100. Which number will you write down? Pause the video here and work it out. Excellent. Did you remember to move your numbers 2 places to the left of the decimal? 2 places to the left of the decimal? Excellent. So you should have had 872 centimetres. Now I'd like you to pause the video again and complete the rest shown on screen using the red and blue arrows to help you. Excellent. We're going to go through the answers. So you should have had 0.92 metres is 92 centimetres. 64 centimetres is 0.64 centimetres. 23.64 metres is 2,364 centimetres. 5,465 centimetres is the same as 54.65. Well done. Now, if this is new to you and you completed challenge 1, then I would recommend that you go on to the worksheet which was sent out in an email to you this morning. Or you can also find it, if you didn't receive it in an email, you can find it on your Purple Mash in the blog area for Year 6 Maths. Or you can even find it on our Grange website under Online Learning Year 6. I don't want you to complete all of this though, that's far too much. Instead, I just want you to complete the first 3 in each section, converting between centimetres and metres. And write those down and send those over to us in an email. You can take a picture or you can scan it, whichever's easier for you. You can see if we're going from millimetres to centimetres, we need to divide by 10. From centimetres to metres, we divide by 100. From metres to kilometres, we divide by 1,000. And you'll see the arrows on the screen to help us work out what it is we need to do. So now here is your task. For every correct answer, you'll get 1 point. So you need to start off by converting 20 millimetres into centimetres. So find the millimetres in the little help area on the right hand side of the screen. 20 millimetres, and then as we can see from the examples from the bank of information shown on screen, we can see we need to divide it by 10. So 20 millimetres divided by 10, and that will help you to convert it to centimetres. I know most of you got that one. The answer is 2 centimetres. Now I won't go through the rest. Pause the video here, use the information on screen to help you, and I'd like you to have a go at answering this in your book. Now for challenge 3. For challenge 3, I'd like you to have a look at the information shown on screen, converting between millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers, and use that to help you convert the units of measure into a different unit of measure. So 25 millimeters, you need to find 5 millimeters on the information shown on screen. For 25 millimeters, if we're converting that to centimeters, you divide it by 10. And you should have got 2.5 centimeters. So well done if you did get that correct. Now before you go on and do it independently, I'm just going to help you a little bit with that last one, that one there, right at the bottom in the right hand corner, where it says 1 kilometer. And you need to convert 1 kilometer into centimeters. Now that one's a bit tricky because you have to jump through 2 hurdles in order to get to centimeters. So I would say take your 1 kilometer, multiply it by 1,000 to turn it into meters, and then multiply it by 100 to turn it into centimeters. Really well with that, or if there's any that you found really easy or any that you found tricky, then that will determine what you do next. So if you think, oh, I did okay with that, but I'd like to keep practicing because I didn't get them all right, then the worksheet that was emailed to you, you need to find a level 2, so the one in the middle, and you need to complete the task there. So you'll see, I don't want you to complete all of it, I just want you to complete the first 3 in each section, converting between meters, centimeters, and millimeters. And email that over to us when you finish. If you did task level 3 or challenge 3 and you got them all correct and you're feeling really confident and you think, yep, I can do that, that's quite easy, I don't need to practice that anymore, then I would like you to complete the extension task, which was emailed, and send us that work, please. It is a bit trickier, but it's nothing I don't think that you can do. If you found challenge 3 easy, then this is just what you need. So I'd like you to have a go. The first extension task is matching the measurement. The next one, you have to read the problem and solve it. And the third, you are going to be drawing those buildings to scale using your conversion, what you know about conversion. Well, not to scale, but on a scale. So, once you've done all that, you still want to continue, you can complete the task entitled Converting Units on Purple Mash. Remember to email us your work at yr6@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Now, I told you we'd have a lot to get through today, but we've managed to get through it. And hopefully you're feeling confident. Remember to use the information on the screen to help you, and if you need to draw that out in your book as well, then do that. I would advise that you don't do challenge 1, 2, and 3. Choose your challenge and then do the follow-up task for that challenge. Okay, you don't need to do 1, 2, and 3, because 2 and 3, some of the questions were similar anyway. On that note, I'll leave you to get on. Have a great day. Bye.